My name is Barbara Higgins. I live in the state of Georgia in the United States. And I was 18 years old when I had my first abortion. It was in 1984, right after I graduated high school. And after that, I had three more before I was 26 years old. I think after the first one, I remember feeling like something inside me had died. I was pretty numb after that. It was a very traumatic experience. I did not expect to go through what I went through right after the procedure. I remember going to this little room and sobbing uncontrollably, like something inside me had just died, or somebody I love had just died, and not receiving really any consolation from anybody. One of the nurses offered me cookies and juice and said, "Oh, you'll be fine, you'll get over it." So I think that really paved the way for me to continue in promiscuous behavior. As a matter of fact, I think it got worse. And looking back, I think that's why, because I just became numb and nothing mattered anymore. My health didn't matter, my future, who I hurt, it just didn't matter to me. So I became pretty cold. And the next three, they were traumatic, but not as much as that first one. The third one I had, I was about 16 weeks along in my pregnancy, so that procedure was a 2-day procedure. And after that one, I remember having a severe reaction, sinking deeper into what I had already been abusing, alcohol and drugs, and I sank even deeper into that. And it was like I just didn't care about my life. I didn't care about living and how much danger I was in or who I hurt. I had a lot of walls built up, a lot of bitterness, and the addictions. I was confused, trapped, helpless. I didn't feel like I could get out of the depression and the addictions that I had. And looking back now, and I've been through two programs where I got counseling to work through the emotional pain and to forgive myself and to learn that I had forgiveness as well. It makes sense, but I found out that I've had trouble bonding in all relationships because I built up so many hard walls in my heart. My husband and we have a good marriage now. My second husband, I carried a lot of those problems into my first marriage, and a lot of that is what contributed to the ending of that marriage. But that first marriage, I had a son with that man, and I was an extremely protective, fearful mother who raised my son with a lot of guilt. And I know that he's older now, but I know that because of my choices that I made in my past, that affected how I raised him. And I bonded with him in a very unhealthy way. It was very clingy, very fearful. I always thought that he was going to die or somebody was going to take him away from me. So I didn't give him a lot of room to grow because I was always protecting him. And bonding with my husband, we're doing good now because we've been together 14 years and we've worked through a lot, but it really caused a lot of problems. So the problems that I had from all those choices that I made carried on for many, many years. And I honestly don't think I'll ever really come to terms 100% with it, because it's something that'll always be there. There'll always be reminders, and there will always be basically a grief it's painful to think about what I did and how much regret I have. My challenge through the years has been to, since I found healing, has been to not let it come back and haunt me, to make me depressed or to send me spiraling back down into the pit. So yes, I do believe that there was a lot of consequences to those choices that I made in ending my pregnancies. The memories of some of those things aren't quite clear to me anymore because so much time has passed, but there are some things that really are imprinted on my mind and on my heart, and I'll never forget those. So I would definitely, I have worked at Crisis Pregnancy Center volunteering, and I always give the girls my testimony of what I went through and where it led me. And even though I found healing, some people don't find healing. And it's a very, very unnatural, traumatic thing to do. Today is October 23rd, 2014. I, Barbara Higgins, agree to allow Mighty Truth Productions, Incorporated, the unlimited right to use, reproduce, distribute the preceding video in any form by any method, known or developed in the future. I acknowledge that I have no interest or claim in the video, and I waive any right of inspection or approval. I acknowledge that Mighty Truth Productions, Incorporated may at any time and without notice authorize any other person or entity to exercise any of these rights to this video. I acknowledge that Mighty Truth Productions, Incorporated is relying on the consent I have given and would suffer damages if my consent were revoked.